to 4 in a row. What have we got in store this evening in the FA Cup? Derek Payne is alongside me, the former Watford midfielder. We know about the romance of the Cup when we were driving down and listening to Macclesfield on our way here, and then hearing that Manchester City scored 10 this afternoon and Max Lane scored one of them. What's in store for Watford tonight as we get off and we kick with Watford heading towards those Hornets travelling supporters? Still has that old romance, Derek, doesn't it?
Yeah, good evening, Jeff, and good evening to the listeners. Definitely, hopefully, we won't be seeing 10 from one team tonight here with these two championship teams that are quite evenly matched in league terms.
Well, it'd be nice if it was Watford scoring 10, Del.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'd take Watford getting 10, but the romance of the FA Cup alive and kicking with that Macclesfield result earlier.
Bristol City, ball around the corner, looks a good one, but of course who else but Matty Pollock comes across to cover. First thing to say is that Watford are lining up with Sissoko as the right attacker, Irankunda as the left attacker, and Semedo as the number 9. So Sissoko isn't in that midfield position. They are like for like, both teams. Semedo, striker, Irankunda starting out on the left, Sissoko starting out on the right. And here is Semedo looking to challenge the centre-back, pulls out in the end, and Bristol City will go back to their goalkeeper. A change of system and a back 3 under Javi Gracia. Who would have thought, Derek?
Yeah, we obviously had to make changes because
ball over the top, which Petrie just has to deal with. Bristol City win the knockdown. Mehmeti feeds it to the left. Cross comes in far side. First chance, first goal. And Bristol City take the lead. And it's Emil Rees who scores. Watford undone. Caught out at the back. Ball played into the penalty area. Then it was curled round to the far post. And Emil Rees was there to head in, back across goal and into the far corner. Watford will be upset with the defending. The first one wasn't dealt with. Two players almost collided. And then the cross from the left-hand side was met in the air by Emil Rees. And Watford have conceded very early on in this game. Not even 2 minutes played. Bristol City 1, Watford 0.
Yeah, put a new defence together, and sometimes this can happen, and unfortunately for Watford it's happened really early in the game. The cross is looped up really, and they should be dealing with it. I think Kevin Kebben, he's playing on the left of the 3 centre-halves. Watford with this 3 centre-halves tonight. I think he's caught ball watching a little bit, just watching the ball, and then by the time he realises it's going over his head, and Rees has finished it. But disappointing start from Watford. No matter if it's the changes or whatever, you have to be alive to the danger, and unfortunately for Watford, I think Kevin Kebben wasn't alive to that danger.
Here's Irankunda trying to break through the middle, feeds it out to the left. It's going to deflect to Semedo, who's played it over the bar when he should have scored. It's set up perfectly for Semedo, and this should be 1-1. There was a lucky little ricochet in there. Semedo bearing down on goal, and I think he's just misconnected with his shot. I think he probably just got a bit too excited, and it's gone over the bar rather than gone in. What an opportunity to make it 1-1.
Yeah, great football down the left-hand side, great overlap by Morris, lovely ball in along the floor. Semedo comes onto it, and yes, he should score. He knows he should score. He just gets underneath it.
Very open game, which is very interesting. Sam Bell in possession, recently recalled from his spell at Wycombe Wanderers. Sam Bell scored a lot of goals for the Chairboys back in the team at Bristol City. Here's Loser playing a central one to Sissoko. Quite a difficult one to deal with. Sissoko is robbed in midfield, so here come Bristol City again. Shoot, say the crowd, as Morsey picks it up. Morsey, a recent signing. He was a free agent, having left Ipswich at the end of the season. Bristol City have possession in the centre circle. This game has started very quickly indeed. Watford conceding inside 2 minutes, but the Hornets fans immediately started singing again to try and get behind their team, and it almost worked because Semedo should have just scored there a minute ago. I wonder whether it just sat up for him as he went to shoot. I don't know, to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, it could have, definitely, Jeff. definitely could have, but he knows he should score. He'll know that. It's a great work move down the left-hand side. Irukunda, lovely ball to Morris. Morris, lovely overlap. Lovely ball. Low is coming, he's running onto it, and he'll know he should have finished it, even if it has bubbled up. But they'll be encouraged by the way they got in so easily there, Watford, just by getting an overlap in the left-hand side.
City have possession with Jason Knight, the central midfielder, to Morsey. Morsey's going to clip the ball forwards. That was similar to how that goal came about. This time Petrie deals with it. I think there was a miscommunication for the goal between Petrie and James Abankwah. Here's Sissoko now, right hand side for Watford. Sissoko crossing in low, good chance, and it's missed again. Semedo was trying to shoot, Loser was right behind him. Cross comes in from Morris, and Bristol City will clear. Not a very good one. Petrie is there, shoots over the crowd. Petrie is pushed over, and this will be a free kick to Watford. And why did Semedo not get contact on that ball as that cross came in?
Well, you know,
did he completely miskick it?
Well, it's good response from Watford, first of all, from going behind, because they've created that one great opportunity, and then they get on the opposite side. They've got down the left-hand side. This time they get down the right-hand side. Great play from Sissoko. Low, hard cross. And I think he's leaning back to try and get his shot off, and he completely... It's like an air shot, but... To be fair to him, I think it was just behind him, but he probably should have made contact at least. But great football by Watford, getting him down the left first of all, and then down the right. Petrie heavily involved, and Sissoko.
6.5 minutes in, and it could be 2-1 to Watford. As it is, it's 1-0 to Bristol City. This has got off to a very quick start, and it's very open as well, which Javi Gracia doesn't tend to like. This has Coventry City vibes for me. At the Coventry Building Society, here's Nkunda. Nkunda curls it around the right-hand post and out of play for a goal kick. It was that kind of territory for Nkunda, but couldn't wrap his foot around that ball well enough. And City take a quick goal kick. Down that left-hand side it goes. Flag goes up for offside, and this will be a free kick to Watford. Going back to the Watford goal conceded, the first ball when it was floated up to the penalty area, there was a real mix-up. They didn't deal with it. Petrie and I think it was Abankwah just almost collided.
You've got, well, I think what you're getting at is stopping the cross. There's not enough pressure on the ball, on the whoever's crossing it in. There's not enough pressure on him. But then, the cross should have been probably stopped better. But then also you've got to look at the way he's got behind Kevin's playing on the left-hand side, but he's got to see his number. When we say he can see his number on the back of his shirt, Reece, and he's caught ball watching a little bit. So yeah, two mistakes. One, didn't close the ball down quick enough, let the cross come in, and then a little bit of ball watching, I feel, by the left centre half.
If you missed the team news, Nathan Baxter in goal for Watford. Back three, Kevin Kebben, Matty Pollock and James Abankwah. Abankwah on the right, Pollock central, Kebben on the left. Wing-backs James Morris and Jeremy Petrie. Obviously Morris on the left and Petrie on the right. Midfield, Loser and Mendy. Papi Mendy, that is, as Sissoko picks up. He's playing over on the right, attacker. Nkunda is left attacker, although he's quite central. And then Vivaldo Semedo is the striker. He's already had two opportunities, one very good one and another one that looked like it might be a chance but didn't pan out that way. Remember, Javi Gracia might learn a lot about his team tonight and some of those players who want to get into his championship team, so they have got to prove themselves. Here is Nkunda, one of those, and Papi Mendy in central midfield. 9 minutes gone on BBC Three Counties Radio and around the world on Watford I Follow. Bristol City 1, Watford 0. A mix-up in defence from the Hornets. Something that hasn't happened too often under Javi Gracia. But playing these three centre-backs just meant that there was a bit of confusion with the first ball forward, and then even the second cross wasn't dealt with by Watford. Javi Gracia just looked away in frustration when the goal went in and had a word with his number two, Zigor Arinaldi, to work out what went wrong. Watford fans still making plenty of a noise away to our left-hand side. Here is Kevin Kebben. Kebben going round his man and feeding this one to Mendy, now to Morris. Good to see Morris getting a start. The left wing back has been a substitute in the last 6 weeks or so in most of the games. And if they don't sign a left back, then Mendy will be kind of the number 2 under Mark Bowler.
Well, yeah, I mean, because there was so much talk about Wiley that, we forgot about James Morris in a way, and yeah, this is a great opportunity for him to stake a claim for that, to be the backup left back, and he started the game well with that great ball for Semedo. So yeah, it's a big opportunity for him to stake a claim to be backup for Bowler. Watford have responded really well to going behind, must say that, and that's where the disappointment will come in the manner of the goal they conceded. They'll be really disappointed with it.
1-0, Bristol City lead on all of our frequencies tonight, so if you have digital radio, then put us on there. That's your best bet, best quality. We're on all of our frequencies, and we are online via BBC Sounds. On your phone, you can listen to us on your mobile, on your tablet, on your smart speaker. Watford have a throw-in down below us on this near side. Earlier in the FA Cup, Boreham Wood lost 5-0 at home to Burton, so the Wood are out of the FA Cup. Last night, MK Dons were beaten by Oxford United, so MK are out. Of our sides in the 3 counties, Watford are the final team remaining. They are currently losing, though, 1-0, and in the Bedfordshire-Hertfordshire clash at Kenilworth Road, Luton got the better of Stevenage in League One. Here's Pollock to Mendy. Mendy goes backwards. Mendy already with a lively start, getting around the pitch, as we've seen from him when he's been involved for Watford as a substitute, trying to get a challenge in here on Morsey. Morsey comes away with it down that left side, and then coming across the cover was James Abankwah. Do you think that Abankwah and Kebin feel like they're kind of on show tonight, almost with a point to prove that they can be trusted by Javi Gracia?
Well, obviously with Max Alleyne, being called back by Manchester City, yes, they will obviously see this as an opportunity to impress Javi Gracia and try and stake a claim to be the centre-half starting next to Pollock in the league, Matty Pollock. So yeah, they'll know the pressure, but you have to deal with that pressure.
Here's Imran Kunda volleying away, taking no chances down that right side. Bristol City are there, the Robins, and they'll go back to their goalkeeper, Joe Lumley, who takes a touch, gets it onto his right foot and clears away. Lumley has Atkinson, Dickey and Tanner in front of him. Those 3 are fairly regular starters in the Championship. The wing-backs are Borges and Viner. Then the 2 in the middle, Morsey and Knight. Again, you would expect to certainly see Jason Knight more often not in their Championship team. The same applies for Anis Mehmeti, who's helped out massively with goal contributions this season already. 8 goals and 6 assists for Mehmeti. Sam Bella's on the right-hand side, who's recently returned to the club, and it's Emil Rees up front. Emil Rees didn't play against Bristol City in that match they lost at home to Preston last Sunday, but he did play and start in the New Year's Day thrashing of Portsmouth, where they won 5-0 here. Emil Rees, who we've of course seen in the past, good striker at this level.
Yeah, I mean, Watford, if you take the goal out of this start to this game, they should be probably winning, and they've started well, considering, the players put players together, 8 changes. They're playing good football, they're playing well. They've created 2 opportunities, one really good one and another half chance, so the start hasn't been bad. It's just the goal they give away they'd be disappointed with, like I said. But the start in the actual way they're playing has been decent.
Free signing, Emil Rees was the goal scorer for Bristol City from Preston, and leads the line well generally. Here comes City over on the left-hand side. 1-0 up. Watford having to come from behind. How many times have we said that this season? It's been something that the Hornets do very well at. Seem to be one of the best sides at recovering and coming back in the face of adversity and going on to collect points, and not just draws but also victories as well. Best in the Championship at that, coming from behind, but Javi Gracia would rather not, as he watches on and his team are trailing 1-0. Quarter now gone. City clip one round the corner. Pollock is there and clears. Irankunda might get on the end of this one. It just runs away from Irankunda. He's got some support though in the face of Loser and also Semedo, left hand side. Here is Semedo, who looks up, tries to cross in early, comes off of the defender Tanner and goes behind for a corner kick right in front of those Watford fans. I mean, they've been playing quite well, Hornets, actually, in this opening quarter of an hour, but they find themselves 1-0 down. Yeah,
Irankunda started really well, dropping into nice pockets. He gets a nice turn there, and Semedo, nice run off to the left. So working well, the team looking good in possession.
Imran Loser to take this corner kick then, outswinger. In comes the delivery. Bristol City get first contact. Papi Mendy picks up. Mendy goes backwards to Loser. Loser heading backwards, finds Jeremy Petrie. He's found it difficult to break into the team in these last couple of months. Petrie with Ngakia having taken that right back slot as his own, and then even when injured, Javi Gracia preferred James Abankwah in that right back position rather than Petrie, as Watford go back to second choice goalkeeper Nathan Baxter. Baxter clears long down that right side. Irankunda's over there at the moment, as Papi Mendy just mops up in central midfield. Loser is challenged just past the halfway line. Watford think there was a foul in there, not given, so Bristol City have it again. Two sides both in the Championship coming up against each other. Bristol City 10th in the table. They've been very inconsistent of late. Never quite know what you're going to get with Bristol City. As I said last time out, they lost at home to Preston, although of course Preston are going well in the Championship. But then before that they walloped Portsmouth 5-0. Defeat before that, win before that, then a win, then a loss, then a draw, then a loss. So that's the reason why they are outside the playoffs rather than in them, which is where they have been for some of the season.
Yeah, and they've got a lot of experienced players for this level. They got in the playoffs last season, so, and especially at home, although their results have actually been better away from home this season. But where Watford have been disappointed, they got 3 goals against Portsmouth, Bristol City, by pressing high up the pitch and a good press, but their goal has come not from that.
Here's Abankwah, strong run from James Abankwah. In comes his cross, goes across the penalty area, and Bristol City are able to clear. City coming out from defence. Good work from Morsey, making his Bristol City debut. Bell just chests it on towards their goal scorer Rees. Rees goes backwards and looks for some support in the form of Zach Viner, who's playing as a wing-back today. I thought he was actually going to play centre-half, Viner, and Tanner would play as the wing-back, but in fact Tanner is playing as a centre-back, which is interesting because Tanner's quite small. I wonder whether they're doing that just because they're concerned about the threat of Irankunda, that they've got Tanner there just to maybe keep half an eye on Irankunda rather than Viner. As City play a ball diagonally forwards, Bell chasing it. Pollock is there, and Pollock volleys it away out of play for a throw-in to Bristol City.
Yeah, with the thing with what's changed the whole dynamic, obviously, is the goal. You know, 1-0, so Bristol now can play at a tempo they want to play at, and obviously it's down to Watford to make sure they defend well and then use their qualities on the break. But it's allowed Bristol City to just slow the game down at times. So, but Watford will be quite comfortable because they're getting a lot of the ball, and they believe they can make chances.
Loser, good switch left to right to Petrie. Beyond the halfway line goes Petrie, still going, driving forwards. Here's Jeremy Petrie, now cuts back on himself, didn't have too many options, gives it to Irankunda, who stayed out on that right hand side, so there's been a little switch up between him and Sissoko. That will no doubt have come from Javi Gracia. Now Loser gets it back again from Mendy. Loser clips one forwards, dealt with by Zach Viner. Bristol City will look to break, but it's Watford who are winning the challenges and the 50-50s. This time it's Kevin striding forwards, then running into trouble. Now he's sliding in to recover. Does well, actually. Semedo picks up and gives this one to Morris. Cool conditions here in Bristol. Not quite as cold as yesterday, but you get the feeling it's going to start getting colder at this tea time kick-off. Watford in possession with Morris, who's started the game brightly. Backwards he goes to Kebben. Watford employing three centre forwards. Pollock playing a central ball forwards. It was quite a good one, actually, but it was difficult to read from Sissoko. Then a Banquer strides forwards. The three centre halves are not concerned about breaking forwards from that halfway line and trying to beat the first set of lines. Here's Mendy going backwards now. It's been a good response from Watford. Loser with a little first-time ball to Semedo. Semedo now out to the left-hand side. And Morris, they've been much the better team, Watford, since conceding. 21 minutes gone at Ashton Gate, but they are currently losing. Here's Pollock on the halfway line. You can see that this is a Watford team who are confident and who have won 4 in a row, because they're keeping the ball well, Derek.
They're excellent. They're looking really good for an away side, dominating the football. They're just, and these players, some of the players who haven't been playing lots of minutes, it just shows you the quality. There's a lot of quality in the whole squad, and they're showing that. It's just disappointing, and I keep coming back to it about the goal, but professionally, you're so frustrated.
Viner's going to cross in from the right-hand side. That one is dealt with by Watford. Comes out, strike on the volley. Was a clean hit from Knight, but he couldn't direct it towards goal, following that right-hand side cross. And Knight's effort goes into those Bristol City supporters away to our right-hand side. City 1, Watford 0. I'm Jeff Doyle. Derek Payne is alongside me, the former Hornets midfielder.
Yes, like I said, Jeff, they're playing so well that the goal they give away is at this level. It's criminal, right? Because you're a good side and you give a soft goal away, so now it makes your job obviously 10 times harder. But they've been brilliant on the ball. Obviously, Bristol are a threat, but in a way, Bristol are trying to play a slower tempo now because they got the lead.
Viner's crossing in from that right side. Watford have mopped it up, and then Loser's not going to reach that ball on this near side. Is it a surprise that Imran Loser is playing today, Derek? Such a key player.
Slightly, yeah, because you don't want to lose any key players for the second half of the season, obviously, but Imran Loser's the sort of player that wants to play, I believe, wants to always be involved, and in a tricky tie away from home against a good championship side, he probably wants to get hold of the football, Javi Gracia, and no one's better at that than Imran Loser. So little surprise, but I think he understands, he trusts Imran Loser to not get himself, put himself into any positions where he might pick up a bad injury.
Maybe he doesn't quite have anybody else who can dictate the play that Imran Loser can in that central midfield position, and the reason why he's starting again tonight. Watford have been hugely linked with the Italian midfielder Edoardo Bove, who had that heart issue over in Italy and now can't play over there, so he is looking for an overseas club. And it feels as though there may be something in it, and Simon Kunda's looking to break away now. Feeds Semedo on his left foot. Semedo into the box, tight angle, crosses at far post, and it's dealt with by Bristol City. Sissoko was lurking and ready just to tap home if it had reached him, but it didn't. Here's Kebben. Watford continue to stay on top of this game. Again, Kunda involved in that.
Brilliant work from Kunda. In a tight space, gets a good turn. Him and Semedo got a really good understanding. Great run from Semedo in behind the defence, and the cross comes in, but really good play from Irakunda and Semedo. They look like they're on the same wavelength. They united at Norwich to get the goal there, and they've definitely got a good understanding between each other. And it's good stuff again from Watford. I haven't mentioned Mendy, deep line midfielder. He's doing really well as well. It's been an excellent start from this Watford team, apart from the goal.
Yeah, it has. Really has. The reason why I'm giving quite a bit of credence to the rumours about Bove is that Fabrizio Romano is the one that spoke about it on X, saying that it was set to be sealed with final details even as early as this weekend. I have absolutely no knowledge of it, but Valon Barami spoke about Bove and said it would be an absolute dream to have him. Whether it happens, we'll have to wait and see. He's a top-class central midfielder, box to box, does loads and loads of work. Played under Jose Mourinho and is a very good player who has been linked to Premier League clubs as well. I think he's good mates with the Arsenal defender Calafiori. Of course, the two training grounds are right next to each other, so we'll wait to see on that one, but that would be a real coup if Watford were to do something there, as the Hornets have a throw in front of the Bristol City technical area. Their manager is Gerhard Struber, former Colne and Salzburg and Barnsley boss. Took over from Liam Manning after Liam Manning left in the summer to go to Norwich. Didn't work out, did it? Having done pretty well last season, Liam Manning with the Robins. Struber has continued to do pretty well with this Bristol City scene, but it's Watford who have been the better side for the last 20 minutes or so, just trying to get that equaliser, which they would fully deserve. Bristol City are coming forwards now down the left-hand side. Abankwah will get across to cover. Abankwah just needs to be careful. The ball almost was running away from him. Then he nearly trips over the ball before clearing up towards Petrie. Petrie just lays it off to Mendy. Petrie was fouled. Free kick to Watford.
Yeah, excellent defending from Abankwah, showing that pace and that strength that he's got. Gets his body in front when he looks like he's going to be second best. So tempo's important for Watford. Keep the tempo high. You know, Bristol City are happy to sit back now.
Bristol City have robbed Watford of possession and they look to shoot here. Ball heads up edge of the penalty area. I think it was Abankwah who got dispossessed there in a poor position as far as he was concerned. Here's Mehmeti going backwards. Borges is going to cross in. Watford need to deal with it, and they do. Headed away. It feels as though there's an element of panic when that ball is played into the Watford penalty area, which those three centre-halves need to maybe try and sort out. Bristol City winning a corner kick over on that far side, and the Hornets with some defending to do. Don't look quite as comfortable in defence as what we've seen in the last maybe 4, 5, 6, 7 games now.
Yeah, I agree with you what you said, Jeff. Any crosses coming in, they just don't look comfortable, whether that's because they conceded early on in this game from a cross, but since then any cross coming in the box, and sometimes, you know, when you've got three-man defence, sometimes it's about communication. You've got to communicate, you've got to speak to each other and let each other know who's going to go and attack the ball.
Bristol City corner, and it comes now, and it's going to come back out. Strike at goal is brilliantly blocked by Pollock, who may well have hurt himself in the process. Pollock flew out to defend that one, and he got absolutely smashed by the volley from Viner. And I don't know why the Bristol City fans are booing. He absolutely belted that one, did Zach Viner, and Pollock took the full brunt. Physios have come on to help him, and Pollock's got up and is now furious that they've come on, because he's now going to have to go off.
Well, first of all, it's a brilliant block. Throws his body down and he takes it in the chest. I mean, the physios have to come on, you know, you don't know what he's done there, so. But yeah, it's a brilliant block from Matty Pollock. Again, they didn't deal with the ball into the box. It comes into the 6-yard box, and they don't get the first contact on it, Watford. It ain't a good header, and they are definitely struggling with any balls coming into the box. Like I said, when you've got a three-man defence, you've got to communicate who's the one attacking, and you've got to get that all organised. You've got to do it quickly. So these three haven't played together in a free for a long time, if at all, and we're seeing that.
Pollock has to go off. Upset that those physios had come on. Now he's having a bit of a go at the fourth official. He'll just have to wait half a minute or so. There's a drop ball, goes in favour of Watford, and Kebben clears up to Semedo. Semedo tries to turn his man, cut out by Bristol City. Here is Morsey, just sits in the middle of the park, Morsey, and passes the ball normally to the nearest person. It's a good, cute transfer that Bristol City have made there from with getting Sam Morsey in. Know what you're going to get with him. As the ball is now played to Tanner to Viner. Viner nudges it forwards. Opportunity to cross, and it's a decent one. Watford deal with it with Mendy, although it's not a great header away. Kebben then smashes it further forwards. Just need to be a bit better with those clearances, Watford, and make sure they deal with it better. It was Mendy there who made that little error. Viner on this near side plays it infield. Bristol City 1, Watford 0. 31 minutes gone here on BBC Three Counties Radio and Watford I Follow, and BBC Sounds too. Here's Petrie beyond the halfway line, still going, and the pass is poor though from Petrie. Might get the rebound and does so now feeds it to Sissoko. Sissoko goes back to Petrie. It's a great stride forwards from Petrie, but the pass wasn't as good as the drive forwards. Here he is again. He's looking for a 1-2 with Sissoko. It doesn't quite come off. Loser wins a header, but Bristol City pick up the ball. Loser's trying to get it back again, and he's fouled his man. Loser incensed with that decision. It's going to go Bristol City's way.
Yeah, not making the most of that opportunity there. They got high up the pitch but ended up coming back. Petrie didn't play the right pass, but again, when they drive forward, Watford, and string a few passes together, they look like they've got the makings of cutting open this Bristol City team in the forward areas.
City throwing over on the far side. Got underway at 5:45 tonight. Earlier, Boreham Wood lost in the FA Cup. 5-0 defeat at home to Burton Albion. Last night, MK Dons lost on penalties to Oxford United after extra time. And then the League One fixture between rivals Luton and Stevenage, it was the Hatters who got the better of the Borough. Here come Watford. Nkunda trying to break away. Sissoko on the floor over on the far side. He thought he was fouled. City have picked up the pieces, and Bristol City striding forwards now. Out to the right it goes, and to Viner. Viner trying to cross in early. Morris blocks. Ball out of play for a throw-in on this near side. Still they lead 1-0, Bristol City. Goal after just 2 minutes. Scored by Emile Rees. Watford won't want to watch that one back on a video, I don't think. Certainly Javi Gracia will pick holes in the goal. In comes across right hand side. Pollock half deals with it. Then the challenge comes in on Bell from Papi Mendy. Big call for a penalty from the Bristol City fans. Loser thinks he was fouled in midfield by Morsey. Nothing doing again. Morsey picks up. Ball into the penalty area. Too much weight on it. And Mehmet is not going to get on the end of it. Goal kick Watford.
Yeah, Bristol City, no. Put balls in the box, you might cause problems. Mendy does really, really well because he knows that if he doesn't get back in and make that challenge, Rees is going to have a free shot. So he does really well, senses the danger and gets back in. Watford have to try and close the crosses down quicker because Bristol City are going to keep putting it in the box because they know Watford ain't dealing with it well.
Here's Papi Mendy in the centre of the park. Heads out to that right, beyond the halfway line now. Papi Mendy now turns around, looks for support. Loser gives it back to him. Millwall at home next weekend for Watford. What a big game that is. Javi Gracia's side with Championship promotion ambitions. You'll hear it live on BBC Three Counties Radio. Nkunda's touch is too heavy, so gives it away on the halfway line, but he does well. Here Nkunda to get back and win it back again, and then Pollock picks up and goes home to his goalkeeper Baxter. Watford play out to the right hand side, and Sissoko, and now into that midfield area, and Mendy done well in there. Happy Mendy, Derek?
Yeah, excellent, done really well. A couple passes gone astray, but that's normal in this sort of game. But he's excellent at sensing danger, he's excellent at just getting on the ball and giving it to Imran Loser, just passing it forward at times. He plays safe, experienced player. It's just second half, because of his lack of minutes, will that energy go out of him? He's had a good start to this game. It's just he'll need a second win, that's for sure, because of his lack of minutes.
City with a throw-in with just over 9 minutes left of this FA Cup third round tie. I'll run through some other scores from the earlier games a bit later. This long throw from Bristol City is down, and Bell is trying to clear some room for himself to get a strike away, unable to do so in a congested penalty area. City have the ball back on this right hand side, a long way from goal now after Watford had cleared, so they'll go back to the halfway line. Emile Reese's goal separates these two sides. Not been too many more chances for Bristol City following that goal. Watford immediately nearly responded through Semedo. Semedo put his effort over the bar, and then it looked like he had another really good opportunity but seemed to misconnect a minute after that. Here come Bristol City again into the penalty area. Another chance for them, far post, and it's Anis Mehmeti who scores. He could hardly miss, if I'm being honest. Set up by Rees. Watford were cut open. It's a well-worked goal from Bristol City, actually, which started close to the halfway line. 1 and 2 touches, good build-up play. The ball into the penalty area was a good one. And fair play, Bristol City. That is a very good goal, which started inside their own half and has involved quite a lot of their players. Ball into the penalty area, and then a cross goal to Anis Mehmeti, who's all on his own, and having scored the first goal, Emile Rees, he sets up the second, and it's Bristol City 2, Watford 0.
Yeah, good pass and movement from Bristol City. Knight at the heart of it, the player 1-2 round the halfway line, and then Rees manages to run in behind the back three of Watford and gets it across. Mehmeti, to me, might have been offside, I don't know, because does he time the run well, but the move just cut Watford open. It was 1 and 2 touch stuff. Knight at the heart of it, Rees with a good run in behind the three centre backs of Watford, and Mehmeti with a tap in at the back post. I just don't know whether he was offside. I might be grasping a bit there, but the build-up play was really good from Bristol City.
Oh, that's a very good team goal, that. It's a really strong team goal. City attacking left-hand side now, and they're still going down that left-hand side, looking to cut it back. They've won a corner kick. Good play. I think that was Borges, the left-back, who had that run down the left-hand side. Link-up play, connections, starting with the defence, then the midfielders through the lines, cutting Watford open, and then receiving that ball almost in the half space. Knight playing the ball into the penalty area, and Rees setting up Mehmeti. 2-0, in comes the corner kick, and almost another one. Should have been another one. Watford weren't defending at the far post, and Rob Dickie has almost missed an open goal there. That should be 3-0.
Yeah, that should be definitely 3-0. It's a cross again, which Watford have not defended well in this first half, and he just makes a late run to the back post, and Dickie, experienced player, should be scoring that. It's 2 or 3 yards out, but again, Watford not defending that cross into the box at all well.
Bristol City 2, Watford 0 on Three Counties Sport. For all their good stuff, Watford, they trail 2-0. And for all their good stuff, we've only had those 2 opportunities for Semedo, and that was quite a long time ago. Irankunda's dragging one back from the touchline. Morris was waiting for the ball to drop down. He'll then go and challenge, but the ball drops to a Robins player who clears. Mendy is there. Mendy now to Loser. Loser to Morris. Morris comes back and gives it to Mendy. Here's Kebin now to Pollock. And Kebin has it on this touchline. Good little Cruyff turn from Kebin. Loser dummy, that works well. Semedo to Irankunda, smashes it in at Irankunda, and then Irankunda very quickly, ball at his feet, darts forwards, then he slips over, still has it Irankunda to the byline, cross comes in, close to Semedo, and cleared by Bristol City. Corner kick. There's some nice stuff from Watford, and yet they're 2-0 down.
Yeah, well, if you don't defend properly, this is. They'll know this at this level. Javi Gracia will know it. Got to defend better, otherwise you will be 2-0 down.
Loser corner kick for Watford. Could do with one back before half-time. We've got just over 4 minutes to go plus stoppage time. Loser plays a high one in far post, and the ball... Well, it's going to be a Bristol City ball because there's some pushing, I think, in the penalty area. Free kick. Bristol City. They've moved to a back 3 stroke back 5, whatever you want to call it, instead of a back 4, and that is a complete change of system, Derek.
Yeah, and they don't look comfortable.
No.
You have to be honest with the 3 at the back. Okay, on the ball they look quite comfortable at defending. Crosses coming into the box, and I mentioned it earlier, when you play 3 at the back, sometimes when there's 3 centre-halves you think the other centre-half's got the player, and you don't communicate. You have to communicate. If there's 2 centre-halves, you know you pick your men early. Sometimes it's lack of communication because you feel that sense of, oh, we got an extra defender in here, we'll be okay.
Scramble in the middle of the park. Mendy and Loser challenging for it. Bristol City get the decision. Free kick to the Robins. It was a well-crafted second goal, that, Derek. Really was. It started inside their own area. So many of them had touches, and it was either 1 or 2 touch. Little flicks here and there, first time balls. Watford were completely cut open. Yeah,
it was excellent from Knight, especially. He's 1-2 round the halfway line, and then he goes forward, drives, and then a good run in behind. Timing was great of the run. It was a good team goal. You just want to look at it from your defensive point of view, but it was a good 1 and 2 touch move, and it cut Watford open.
Throw into Bristol City over on the far side. 2.5 minutes until half time. 3 counties at Sport on this Saturday evening. What's already been a busy weekend for us. We've heard about Luton's victory over Stevenage. Bournemouth's defeat at home to Burton, as City are crossing in from that left-hand side. Chance to shoot again, and it's saved by Baxter. Bell was easily able to turn there, just outside the 6-yard box. Baxter throws out to Sissoko. Sissoko bombs on. Still has it, Sissoko. And it's now picked up by Semedo. Semedo for Watford, trying to feed out to the right-hand side, but can't reach Irankunda. Then he makes up for it. Semedo still going right-hand side. In comes his cross, and he wins his team a corner kick. So you get the flashes of brilliance from Semedo, but you get the errors interwoven. It's quite annoying, actually, because the stuff he does really well is normally after he's made a mistake. More on that in a moment. You may not understand what I'm talking about. Derek will definitely understand what I'm talking about. He's watching it with me. Here comes the corner kick. Watford missed that first header close to the near side of the 6-yard area. Watford are trying to get it back out to Loser on that right. They will do. Irankunda finds Loser. 2 minutes to go. It's been a good first half of FA Cup football, but unfortunately the result is not going Watford's way. They're trailing by 2-0. But it hasn't been a boring game. It hasn't been slow and ponderous. It's been quick. Lots of challenges, some good football. Loser floats one into the penalty area. Semedo rises for it, won't win it. Bristol City half clear. Watford don't need to foul here. Morris is there. Can he win a throw or something better? No, he can't. Player kicks it against him. Throw into Bristol City. Do you know what I mean by Semedo? It's a bit frustrating.
Yeah, I get what you mean, Jeff. He's a young player, and sometimes because what I think it is, you see what talent he's got. He's got so much talent. He's got, for a tall lad, he's got good feet. He's quick. He can get hold of the ball. So when he does like a tiny mistake or something, like the chance he had, you think, well, you've got everything not to take that chance. But look, he's still a young lad learning his trade, and he's been excellent tonight with his runs off the ball and also getting himself into dangerous areas, trying to win the ball back for the team as well. So
3 minutes at a time. 3 minutes at a time.
His loser, 3 minutes of stoppage time. Petrie picks up. Petrie, square to loser. Loser first time to Irankunda. Good ball. Irankunda onto his left foot. He'll shoot, but completely miskicks it, and it almost goes sideways rather than towards goal. That's a miskick from Irankunda. Ball out of play. Yeah, I'm being ultra critical of Semedo because I do see some real talent in there.
yeah,
But as he's young, he's learning, he's making his mistakes, and he will get better and better, the young Portuguese player.
like that's it, Jeff. And he's got a lot of talent, and you've got to think about it. He's put himself in that position for that early chance. Great the way he gets in there to get that chance, and then maybe the second one when Sissoko pulls it back. Another intelligent run to get himself in position.
Watford maybe forced backwards here on this right hand side, and they will go backwards to Nathan Baxter, who's filling in for Egil Selvik tonight. Irankunda trying to break away right hand side. Good burst of pace from him. Irankunda couldn't get away from the defender though. That's good play from Rob Atkinson. Not many can keep up with Irankunda. We saw that at Norwich recently, didn't we? But that's decent play from Rob Atkinson. Good, showing a good turn of pace. Throw to Watford, and we are halfway through the allotted 3 minutes of stoppage time here on BBC Three Counties Radio. Long throw comes in. Watford trying to flick it in towards the 6-yard box. Has come off of an a Robins player, and now to play for the Hornets corner kick. And
Yeah, they worked a good corner kick where it was just pulled up just before, where Irankunda come round the back. It's good to see him try and be inventive. Let's see if they work anything here from this set piece.
Loser over it again. A minute of stoppage time to be played. 2-0 down Watford. In comes the delivery. It's towards the far side. Watford head it back into the box. Drops down. Bristol City clear. And then they might get the chance of another clearance, which they'll do so. Down that left side. Bell is there. Bell up against Petrie. Petrie goes backwards to his goalkeeper Baxter. 30 seconds left of this first half. Baxter, who's been beaten twice already in this FA Cup tie. Irankunda flicks on, so good in the area. Irankunda sometimes almost feels like he's defying the laws of gravity, just how high he jumps and wins the ball in the air against opponents so much bigger than him. He's got a brilliant spring, Nestor Irankunda. There is the half-time whistle, and at the break it's Bristol City who are leading Watford by 2-0. Poor defending from the Hornets. Their general play has been pretty good, but defensively not good enough, Derek.
Yeah, exactly how you said, Jeff. They in possession look bright, look good, keeping the ball well. Irakunda's looking really good tonight. Him and Semedo linked up a couple of times, and generally in possession they've been the dominant team of the two teams. Bristol City had a good spell just before that second goal, but it just goes to show you when you're playing teams of both championship teams, and if you don't defend properly, you'll get punished. And we have to mention the three at the back, and it just hasn't worked defensively. In possession, Watford have been great. Out of possession, trying to defend. They've got to stop crosses coming in, first of all. We can't forget that point. But then also, when the three centre-halves have to defend the crosses coming in better. And I mentioned, when you play three at the back, what happens is you get a false sense of security. And sometimes them defenders think the other defender's got the player. And that's what I've noticed whenever I've played in a three at the back. So the communication has to be better, and it's poor defending from crosses coming in the box.
What will Javi Gracia have learnt from this opening 45 minutes, Derek?
I think he would have learnt that the three at the back hasn't worked. There's reasons for that. These three haven't played together, obviously, and you put them into a game against a strong Bristol City side, but it hasn't worked. You know, we don't look comfortable with the three centre halves with crosses coming in the box, and you would think with three centre halves you'd be more comfortable with crosses coming in your box. So that hasn't worked. He would have learnt that his team have got character. His team don't give up, and they've been good in the possession side of the game. But he will be worried, he will be concerned with the way that them three defenders are defending balls coming into their box.
I wonder what he's going to do. Does he want to try foremost Mendy? Does he want to go back to a back four? He's given this, he is not normally a 3/5 defensive coach.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like I said as well, I have to give these players a bit of, because they haven't played together in a three, and they would have worked on it 2 or 3 days. So if you don't just dismantle it because of one bad 45 minutes, you might look at it second half and keep it the same, and talk to them at half time and say, we have to do these things better, and maybe he'll look at it again, because like I said, when you're trying a new shape, you can't judge it really over 45 minutes, especially when they've just been put together over 2 or 3 days. But he will be disappointed, because players at this level, the first goal should be stopped. There's no doubt about that. The first goal should be stopped.
Yeah, and I should say, this is not just about the three central defenders. This is a different shape which affects the whole team. So, you've got 2 wing-backs who we haven't seen anything of really in the last 2 months or so. Papi Mendes in central midfield, who's new. Irankunda and Sissoko and Semedo don't normally play. So it's a different shape, and it's different personnel. So you can understand why Watford defensively haven't been as strong as they have been in recent weeks. Yeah,
I mean, like you said, Jeff, good point. You change the system and you change the personnel, and you have to look at it. Does it work? And the problem you've got when you're playing the three centre halves and you've got your 2 wing backs and you want them to push on at times, it can maybe leave you like the second goal that Bristol City got. It's a lovely 1-2 round the halfway line, and then they drive towards Watford's goal. There's no cover there, so that's something to do with the system as well. If Watford were playing a 4, and when they drop into the 4-5-1 when they're out of possession, I don't think that space is there for Knight to either drive into or maybe make the pass, because there'll be players there in front. So he won't be overly concerned, because he'll know what we're talking about. He'll know the system kind of leaves you a little bit vulnerable. But he'll want the defending on the first goal to be a lot better. The second goal, he might give that a little bit of leeway, because it is good football for Bristol City. And again, I think if they were playing with a back four and the regular team, I don't think Bristol City scored that goal.
We'll look back on the stats in a moment, and we will also take a look at some of the other scorelines in the tea time kickoffs, plus look back on the other FA Cup ties as well from earlier today. Half-time scoreline then at Ashton Gate is Bristol City 2, Watford 0.
Andy Collins at breakfast.
I went to the art shop and bought a piece of art, and I went, how much is that? And he went, it's this much. And I went,
really?
And I went, okay.
What do you want picture of? It's a chimp in a seat, isn't it?
A chimpanzee wearing cowboy boots. I've probably
no, it's really good. And it costs that?
Yeah. The frame we've gone, well, he's maybe go for, is the one those proper old, like you would see at the Louvre, with like gold kind of.
Yes. Like, I think in fact it's next to the Mona Lisa, isn't it? The chimp in cowboy boots.
Andy Collins at breakfast. Weekdays from 6. Just ask your smart speaker to play BBC Three Counties Radio.
Three Counties Sport.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Three Counties Sport then live at Ashton Gate, Bristol City 2, Watford 0. Half-time here. We'll run through the stats in a moment. More from Derek Payne too. We're also going to hear from Luke Garrard, the Boreham Wood manager, after they were knocked out of the Cup earlier in the 3 o'clock kickoff at home to Burton Albion. Let's run through the other 5:45 kickoffs then. Cambridge United 0, Birmingham 2. The Championship side leading against Cambridge United from League 2. Grimsby are 1-0 up against Weston-super-Mare, so the non-leaders not getting the better of Grimsby. And it's Tottenham 0, Aston Villa 2. Pressure is mounting on Thomas Frank, the Spurs boss. Those are the half-time scores elsewhere. Just earlier in the day then, let's run through some of these. No surprise at Whaddon Road, Cheltenham 0, Leicester 2. Everton drew 1-1 with Sunderland, but lost on penalties to the Black Cats. Sunderland won 3-0 on penalties, so they progress in the FA Cup. Macclesfield 2, Crystal Palace 1 was the big story of the day. A huge giant killing, one of the biggest ones in history. Macclesfield from the 6th tier beating Crystal Palace from the Premier League and the FA Cup holders. What a story that is for Macclesfield from Conference North to beat Crystal Palace. Wolves 6, Shrewsbury 1. Rob Edwards with a comfortable victory, his side over Shrewsbury. Bournemouth lost 5-0 at home to Burton. More on that in a moment. Burnley beat Millwall by 5-1. Doncaster 2, Southampton 3, a full-time scoreline. Fulham 3, Middlesbrough 1. Ipswich 2, Blackpool 1. Manchester City 10, Exeter 1. Wow, and Exeter only got their goal in the 90th minute, so that was nearly a 10-0. Exeter from League One absolutely drubbed by Manchester City 10-1. Max Alleyne scoring one of the goals for City. Newcastle drew 3-3 with Bournemouth and then won 7-6 on penalties, so the Magpies are through. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Brentford 2. The Premier League team beat Wednesday, who are struggling on and off the pitch. And Stoke 1, Coventry 0, a full-time score. So Stoke getting the better of the Championship leaders Coventry in the FA Cup. Right, let's hear about that Bournemouth defeat at home to Burton then. I think quite a few people were expecting Bournemouth to do quite well in that game at Meadow Park, but not to be. We heard from Sam Avery earlier saying that it wasn't really a 5-0 scoreline. Let's find out what Bournemouth's manager Luke Garrard thought of the performance and also the scoreline. Here he is with Sam.
Luke, commiserations. What's your thoughts on that game today?
Didn't envisage that, mate. I didn't see that one coming. Felt we prepped them. I felt we started the game really, really well. Had a couple of opportunities from restarts, and then they go and get a goal. They can see the second for our lack of communication, and I think the third's the big one. I think the second half we started ever so well, got on the front foot, had a load of opportunities and actions inside their box, but we wasn't clinical enough in the final third, and I look at them and probably say they had 6 opportunities and scored 5 of them. Taking nothing away from Gary Bowyer and his side, but you see how ruthless they are, and unfortunately today that wasn't the case for us.
I said at the end of the game that maybe 5-0 is a harsh reflection on the game, but maybe more of a reflection on, as you say, the clinicality between the two sides.
I said to the group at the end, there's the levels. They're a side that are currently struggling in League One, yet you see how clinical they are in front of goal, how ruthless they are, how aggressive they are on duels. And we got boys with ambitions that want to climb the league. I've got ambitions to be a manager in the league, and today we were shown a harsh reality of where we're all at. But yeah, look, I part that now because the bread and butter is our league campaign, and we go to Braintree on Saturday, and we need to make sure that we right some wrongs come this week to put this to bed as quick as possible.
Obvious to say with the game done and dusted, but it felt like you probably needed to score when you were on top in the first 25-30 minutes of the game.
Yeah, listen, it's always them moments, right? It's always when you're taking the ascendancy. There's no point having all that lion's share of possession, lion's share of territory, yet you haven't got a goal to back that up. They then score and it takes the wind out your sails. And then to go and concede the second, in which we did because of lack of communication, as I say. I felt we were brilliant in the early stages of the second half because we were camped in there half for 5 to 10 minutes. We were ready in a change, and I felt that if I did that, it would have taken a lot of our ascendancy away from the game. But listen, 5-0 hurts. Please don't feel that I'm not hurting. I am hurting. I don't want or envisage that this afternoon at the start of the week, start of the day, and then we're going to felt 5-0. I have to regroup. I have to make sure that this group understands and appreciates what they've achieved, because the third round for the 4th time in 6 years is some accolade. This group itself has been brilliant with regards to how their league campaign's going. We're in the National League Cup. I need to just bubble this along and make sure we can, as soon as possible, put this to bed.
Because you have built up a bit of a reputation, especially in your first spell at the club as well, when you reached round 5 a few years ago, of being giant killers in this competition. Has that almost been difficult to manage? Because even going into this game, not to say your side were favourites, but there's almost a bit of an expectation from the outside world that you can cause an upset.
Listen, yeah, we have. We've had some great stories here. I'm probably going to get it double barrel when I get home from my 7 and 10-year-olds. Daddy, you got felt 5-0. What happened? They're my biggest critics. So, listen, it's been brilliant. You look around here now, the glass house, the new facilities that the chairman has built in our cup runs with our finances, it aids a club our size. It's just a frustration that I felt we carried too many today and we weren't in a position or warranted and nowhere near deserved to get anything from the game. So for me, great. We've been in the 5th round, the 4th round, the 3rd round 4 times. It's great. And I'll have a memory of today, not a nice one, but it's a memory. You've got to learn from everything in terms of all games. I'll assess it, I'll have a look at things and see where I need to be better.
And just one more on your league campaign, as you mentioned, back to the league next for you, and you're on such a good run of form, 8 wins from your last 9 going into today's game. What is so special about this group and why you're flying so high in the league this season?
They're a credit to work with. I love coming into work every single day. They're honest, they work hard, they listen, they're receptive to information. My thing is today, unfortunately, there was a level and we didn't get to the level we needed to. I say about passengers, and I felt we carried 6, 7 and 8 passengers as opposed to the 2 and 3 that maybe you get a bit of luck with. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case today. The group's been brilliant. Like I said to them in there, I need to be a support act as opposed to a battering ram. I'm here to support them because they've been brilliant. They've been excellent in their work religiously throughout the week, religiously throughout the season. We need to go to Braintree now and make sure we right wrongs and put this result to bed as quick as possible.
That was Luke Garrard then. Bournemouth losing 5-0 at home to Burton. Something of a real surprise that with Bournemouth's not only their history but also with how well they're doing at the moment in the National League. Back to here then and at Ashton Gate, where it's Bristol City 2, Watford 0. Nil scoring after 2 minutes. Anis Mehmeti after 37. Here come Bristol City. Let's run through the stats to see if that can tell us anything we didn't already know. Possession, Watford have actually had a tiny little bit more. There's hardly anything in it. 52% Watford. Expected goals, if anyone's interested in that, Bristol City 1.03, Watford 0.32. And then total shots, obviously Bristol City have had more, and shots on target, it's 3-0 to Bristol City. So they've had more shots on target. They've created better opportunities, and yet Watford still feel as though it feels to me as though they're half in it. I'm just not quite sure whether they're going to keep a clean sheet in the second half. That's the problem.
Yeah, Jeff, you know, if you're looking on that first half and we're reflecting on that, great chance at 1-0, Semedo misses. Obviously that changes the whole dynamic of the game as well, but defensively, the second goal's a great goal, but defensively the first goal should be stopped. Then Dickey has a free header at 2-0. So you're looking at it and you're hoping that the defending's better from Watford in the second half. But they have shown when they go forward, I think Irakunda's been excellent, like a spark of, he gives a spark to the team. Semedo as well. They look like they can create opportunities. So the next goal for me, any game at 2-0, especially if it's in the cup, obviously Watford have to get the next goal, and anything can happen. But yeah, there'll be chances for Watford. They've just got to defend better, like you said, Jeff.
His substitutions are going to be telling, I think. Javi Gracia, particularly if he takes off perhaps someone like Imran Louza, because then that would suggest that he thinks that this cup tie might be over, or Matty Pollock, to give those two, probably the two key players, a rest. Louza's going to get us underway and takes the kick-off straight back to his goalkeeper, Baxter. Or, on the flip side of that, Derek, he could bring on Othman Imama if he wants to go and win the game, or he could bring on Kwadwo Bar, or he could bring on Kieram Go. So there are options, depends which way he wants to go.
Yeah, I think he'll watch the first 15 minutes and see, you know, how the game goes, how it starts unfolding. Obviously, if Watford gets a goal, that obviously changes a lot of things. But yeah, he'll watch the first 15 minutes, see how the team's performing before he makes any sort of decision on that, I feel. Because I think the game was close enough in terms of possession and that he just wants his team to defend better, and obviously when the chances come, take them.
Bristol City had possession over on that far side, but the ball has rolled out of play for a throw-in. So Watford line up with Nathan Baxter in goal. Back three, Kevin Kebben, Matty Pollock and James Abankwa left to right as the three central defenders. James Morris left wing back, done okay. And on the right-hand side, Jeremy Petrie. Then the two in midfield, Imran Louza and Papi Mendy. And Iran Kunda started out on the left-hand side, although he did swap a bit with Sissoko, who started out on the right with Semedo as the attacker for Watford, who have just got caught there, and it's Kebben who's got caught. Bristol City across goal, nearly 3-0, and Watford get away with one, and Kevin Kebben gets away with one. Big mistake from Kebben. That's the issue with the centre-back, and that's what we have seen when he has played recently. He makes a mistake, and it's in really costly areas as well, that one inside his own penalty box. Yeah,
they get away with it, Watford, fortunately. Like you said, Jeff, big mistake from Kebben. Just kind of steps on the ball, I don't know. And then, fortunately, like I said, Bell doesn't find a teammate. He is on the left-hand side of the three, we must say that. He's predominantly right-footed. But he had a good start this season, and then he kind of started making errors, and maybe his confidence is a little bit low.
Problem is, Derek, someone's going to have to play on that left-hand side now that Elaine's gone. Assuming that Pollock will stay on the right if he sticks with the back four in the Championship campaign. Bristol City winning the ball back inside the Watford half. Out to the left-hand side it goes, and Borges is trying to attack. They look to take a throw in, the left wing back. Watford defending in numbers at the moment. 3 minutes gone of this second half. It's 2-0 to the home side. Iran Kunda can't keep the ball under control following Sissoko's pass, and then there's a foul in the centre circle. Just ball crept away from Iran Kunda's path. Javi Gracia has sat down in that technical area, who stood up for the vast majority of the first half, but probably like one or two others. He's getting cold down there. Free kick to City. Gracia, who took Watford to the FA Cup final the last time he was with the club in 2019. Started out at Woking in that brilliant campaign, but he's got his work cut out to have a campaign as good as that this time round, because his side are 2-0 down in the second half. Baxter looking at options after he claimed a cross from the right hand side. Not too many at the moment. Watford 6th in the Championship, above Bristol City, who are 10th. They've won the same an amount of games, the two clubs, 11 in the Championship. Watford with 2 more draws, which sees them sit above their Bristol City opponents. And this really good run of form, 1 defeat in 12 under Javi Gracia, and unbeaten in 7. That will remain in the Championship, but it won't overall if this carries on like this. Watford 2-0 down.
Yeah, and he'll be looking at his players, their body language. You know, we have to mention some of these players haven't been playing, so second half you expect the game might catch up with them. But he'll be looking at the attitude. There's been a couple of mistakes early on in this second half, and he'll be looking at his players closely and whether he needs to just add an injection from the bench.
Crossing from Bristol City, Pollock is there. Pollock volleys away. Watford just almost getting turned over edge of their penalty area. Imran Louza almost getting into a bit of trouble. Big game at home to Millwall next Saturday is live on BBC Three Counties Radio and Watford I Follow. Remember, it's a 12:30 start as Iran Kunda races away left-hand side. Like a 100-metre sprinter down there, isn't he? So quick. Those little legs scampering down the touchline. Nestori Irankunda, so fast. Bristol City just about dealt with him. Yeah, 12:30 kickoff next Saturday. And it's live on BBC Three Counties Radio on 103.8 FM.
Yeah, and he linked up again with Semedo. They've got a good understanding, Semedo and Irankunda. So I think Javi Gracia want a bit more tempo out of his team. You're 2-0 down, you've got to make the tempo, you've got to create the energy. You're the team that's behind. Because obviously Bristol City are quite comfortable to just slow the game down, just try and dictate the tempo. It's up to you when you're the team behind to break that and start controlling the tempo of this game. Otherwise they'll manage the game quite comfortably, Bristol City, if you allow them.
Banquet trying to see this ball out, but it's got a long way to go before it goes out of play, and he realises that and decides to clear. Here's Jeremy Petrie. Petrie plays in field. Semedo trying a first time ball, but it wasn't quite on. I'm not sure the ball was on either from Petrie to Semedo, actually. Throw to Bristol City. Mendy gets a good challenge in. Down in front of us and in front of Javi Gracia. Ball out of play for a Bristol City throw in. Unbeaten here against Watford in their last 6, Bristol City, but 4 of those were draws. But they do have a reasonable record against the Hornets. Quadwo Bar was warming up a little bit earlier and the Watford supporters were singing his name, but I think it's going to be Bristol City who are going to make the first changes in this FA Cup tie in the 3rd round.
Yeah, they got a 2-0 lead. They want to manage this game. You can see it already. They're not going to overextend themselves, pushing loads of players forward, Bristol City. They're going to keep in their shape and they're just going to try and manage this game. And like I said, that's down to Watford to try and break that up, try and get themselves on the ball and try and control the tempo a bit more. Because at this moment, Bristol City are just controlling things.
More miscommunication from Petrie and a Banquet there, almost collide, heads close together from a throw-in. Just about pull out in time. George Earthy is going to come on for Bristol City. Recently returned to the club on loan from West Ham. He was here all last season. Good player, George Earthy, as well. He's going to come on presumably into the central midfield area, probably for Morsey. I don't think Morsey's played too many games recently, so probably just to keep him from tiring himself out, and they may get this substitution done in just a second. James Banquet stopped the throw in. Watford supporters still behind that goal. We've been in good voice all evening. 2,000 of them making the journey east to Bristol along the M4. City go backwards and to the halfway line, and Rob Dickey, the former QPR and Oxford defender. A lot of established players at Bristol City, including Rob Atkinson, who's on the ball now. And of course, Zach Viner's been at the club since he was a kid. Been here for about 20 years, Zach Viner. He is out of contract in the summer. It's led to speculation about what his future might be. And the same applies, whisper it quietly, for Anis Mehmeti, who's also out of contract, who is such a pivotal figure for them.
Yeah, well, they'll be trying to hold on to them players, obviously. Been good servants, haven't they? They've got a lot of championship experience in their team tonight. They haven't made too many. They made 5 changes, but these players quite experienced at this level.
They're all first teamers. You'd call all of them first teamers, wouldn't you, Derek?
Yeah, and they're experienced, aren't they?
Yeah. You could say something similar with Watford, because, you know, Irankunda and Semedo, Sissoko, they're not what you would call squad players. Here is Sissoko now. That's a good pullback. Semedo picks it up, and then he thought Irankunda was going to pick it up, but Irankunda didn't. And so Bristol City can look to counter-attack now. Clip ball over the top. Sam Bell wasn't offside, but the one who picks it up I'm sure was, although Reese hasn't been signalled as offside. Reese is still going. Certainly looked offside, didn't he? Is the flag going to come up any moment now when he passes the ball? No. In comes a cross, and it's volleyed away by Watford. Well, that looked for the world to be offside, Emil Reese, which is why he left it, because he wanted Bell to go and get it. But anyway, here come Watford with Irankunda. Irankunda breaking forwards. Again, that turn of pace from Irankunda. Still going is Irankunda. He's run himself into a bit of traffic. Backwards, Watford go. Still 2-0. Bristol City lead. Coming up to 56 minutes gone here. There are going to be a trio of changes to be made by Bristol City. Scott Twine is going to come on as well for City.
Yeah, Watford supporters getting behind their team. They know if Watford can get this next goal, it's game on again. 2-0 lead, you're always in with a chance, because you get the next goal and you put the pressure on your opponent. Be interesting to see what Javi Gracia does, though, sub-wise.
Yeah,
you know,
it's still in the balances, isn't it? Because it's 2-0.
Yeah.
So what is he going to do?
This is where it's going to be interesting.
That's probably why we haven't seen a sub yet, Del. Here is Semedo. Semedo coming forwards, gives it to Sissoko. He feeds Petri. Petri in loads of space, right-hand side. Petri's going to cross in. It's a deep one. Irankunda on the volley. It's blocked well by Bristol City. Bristol City just stood their ground and made sure they got the block in. And City will now play a diagonal and a good ball forwards as well for Bell. 1v1, Bell against Kebben. Bell versus Kebben. Kebben won't get the block in, but Pollock will. It comes back to Bell, who stabs it forwards. Chance for Reese. Oh, Reese should have done better there. Tried a curler into the far corner, but technically didn't get it right. Goal kick, and Watford will breathe another sigh of relief. And now we will see the substitutions. Mehmeti off and Twine on, like for like. Morsey, George Earthy is coming on. Sam Bell also going off, and it's going to be Jason Knight who's going to go off for Randall. So Earthy on, Twine on, and Randall on. Bell, Twine and Knight off. So slightly more defensive, because Randall's a central midfielder. Sam Bell more of an attacking midfielder. So maybe just thinking about seeing this game out, Bristol City. And there's movement on the Watford bench.
Yeah, but all three of them Bristol City players, vast experience at this level.
Yep.
But yeah, Watford had the shot from Irankunda, good play. They got up the right hand side. It was good play again, getting down the outside of Bristol City. Irakunda's volley was blocked, and we'll probably see a lot of that as this game goes on. Watford obviously pressing to try and get themselves the goal to get back in the game, and obviously Bristol City will be trying to pick Watford off on the counter attacks, because I think Bristol City are quite happy to just sit in and ask Watford and say to Watford, can you break us down?
Banquet tried to play a ball down that right channel, and then Banquet's put his arm out against the attacker who was trying to break away down the left. And Banquet's going to be the first person shown a yellow card. So Banquet into the referee's notepad, and the Hornets are going to be bringing on Quadwo Bar, I think Bowler as well, plus Jack Greaves as well is going to get a run out for the Hornets. Former youth team player. I saw the youth team play this week, actually, the Watford youth team on Thursday. They got beaten by Charlton in the FA Youth Cup. Jack Greaves was part of that youth team a few years back, so good to see him getting a run out. As City attack right hand side, Kebben is there. Kebben close to the touchline, does a Cruyff turn, gets away with it just about. Ball runs out of play for a Bristol City throw in, which they'll take quickly. We've reached the hour mark Bristol City lead by 2-0 on BBC Three Counties Radio and Watford I Follow on all of our frequencies tonight, and we're also online via BBC Sounds. You can listen on your phone, on your smart speaker, on your tablet. And don't forget, if you want to listen to Javi Gracia after this game, then in all likelihood you'll probably need to listen via BBC Sounds. Go to Watford FC on BBC Sounds in your search, and then the audio will drop in there. Here come Bristol City, so well worth getting onto BBC Sounds, typing in Watford FC in your search, and all the content that we do goes in there, all the interviews pre and post match. Here come City now, and they'll look to keep possession. Earthy involved, now out to the left hand side, cross comes in from Twine, it's going to drop down, Watford head away, and then Mendy clears a little bit further. Morris is there. Morris just has to knock the ball out of play over on the far side, and we'll see the Watford substitutes come on now. Mixture, these three. Musa Sissoko is one of those to come off. Imran Louza, interestingly, also coming off. And also Matty Pollock coming off. So Pollock and Louza, the two we spoke about as to the really important ones, the pivotal figures who we were hoping wouldn't get injured, both withdrawn, Derek. That's a sign, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so, Jeff. He won't give up on the... I think so, Jeff. I don't think he'll give up on the game. But you can understand why he's taking off Matty Pollock and Imran Louza, two of his influential players in the starting 11. So, but he hasn't given up the game. I mean, they haven't got going in this second half, Watford, if we're honest. And Bristol City are managing this game, and they're very comfortable. So he had to try something. So he's going to go to a back four for a start, I think. And unless he's putting Bowler in on the left hand side, we'll see how that develops. Bowler's gone in left hand side, so he's keeping it as a free. Kevin's gone central, Bowler's on the left hand side, Bankura, so he's still staying with the three centre halves.
Yep. Ball down the right side from Bristol City, who continue to lead by 2-0. Played infield to Morsey, who has stayed on the pitch, so getting plenty of game time is Sam Morsey. Bowler then kicks it against Earthy for a goal kick to Watford. Earthy actually has replaced Sam Bell as a straight swap on that right side, so they have stayed the same basically. Randall and Morsey are now the central midfielders. Twine on the left, Earthy on the right for Bristol City, with Reese up front. Barr out on the pitch for Watford now, replacing Sissoko. Greaves has taken the place of Louza in central midfield, and then Bowler on for Pollock. Bowler has gone in at centre half on that left hand side. City on the halfway line, pick up, then feed forwards to Earthy. Earthy out to the right, chance to cross in. Viner gives it back to Earthy down that right flank. Earthy goes backwards, cross comes in from Bristol City, and then it's headed over the bar by the striker Emil Rees, the Dane. Couldn't direct his header downwards. Ball out of play for a goal kick.
Yeah, it's very comfortable. I've said it.
Yeah,
it's very comfortable at the moment for Bristol City. You can understand, with these players, Watford players, not playing, tiredness coming in this second half. Whereas a lot of these Bristol City players have played a lot of minutes this season, been involved, and we're seeing that in this second half where it's Watford a yard off all over the pitch. Understandable.
Earthy with a 1-2. Being held up by a Banquet. Earthy still has it. The Banquet is now penalised for the pulling of the shirt. Free kick to Bristol City. 64.5 minutes gone. City 2, Watford 0. Watford haven't had a chance really in the second half. Haven't tested goalkeeper Joe Lumley. Ball has been predominantly inside the Watford half.
Yeah, like I said, these Bristol City players, most of these have played lots and lots of minutes. And I know it sounds an excuse, but a lot of these Watford players haven't, and we're seeing that at the moment in this second half. They can still try and get Barr in the game, I believe, and try and use the subs as much as possible, use that extra energy, especially Barr, try and get him on the ball. And Irakunda.
Bristol City free kick. It's a really good one, and it's in. They get the first header inside the 6-yard box, and it was a really, really good one as well. A brave one from Bristol City, and that's likely to be it as far as this contest is concerned. I think it's Rob Atkinson, the centre-half, who got there first ahead of goalkeeper Baxter. It was brilliantly whipped in, the free kick, and the centre-half got on the end of it before Baxter could get there. Great header from Rob Atkinson, and it's Bristol City 3, Watford 0.
Yeah, it's a great delivery in as well. It's put into that area, corridor of uncertainty, and it is a good attacking header, but I think Baxter will be disappointed with his part in it. You know, the goalkeeper comes and I think he misjudges it, and it's a good header, and it's a story of what we saw in the first half, not defending crosses in the box very well at all, and I don't think Baxter will be too happy with his part in it. It was a good ball in though. Scott Twine, known for his delivery, and it was a good attacking header, and we have to say it's thoroughly deserved in the second half what we've seen so far. They've been dominant. Bristol City managed the game really, really well.
He whipped it in, didn't he? Curling, whipped in free kick. Close to Baxter, but Atkinson just seemed slightly bit more determined to go and win it, and got his head to it first and glanced it in. And the Hornets are heading out of the FA Cup in the first round in which they've entered. Robins don't have a brilliant record in the FA Cup. Last season they lost in the third round to Wolves. Watford are going to head out though, unless something miraculous happens. Morris is trying to break forwards left hand side. It's ahead of him, but he might make something of it, has he? No, he's just sort of tripped over the ball. It wasn't easy for James Morris, and the ball runs out of play for a goal kick to Bristol City, and we've got 22.5 minutes. It feels a little bit like a lost cause now, unfortunately.
Yes, got to agree with you, Jeff. From Watford's point of view, though, it's about making sure you play with pride now. You make sure that you keep going. You make sure you keep the effort there and the quality there, and don't just kind of.
There's another ball into the box. Another chance. Reese will score a fourth. It's definitely game over now. It started with goalkeeper Lumley, who's played one of the balls of the match, a diagonal out to the left-hand side, and that is why Rob Atkinson has jogged all the way back to him to give him a massive pat on the back, because it was a wonder ball from the goalkeeper out to the left-hand side. Jeremy Petrie was caught wrong-footed, and then the ball into the box was a very good one left-hand side, and Reese did the rest. His first touch was brilliant, and with his second touch he's just notched it past Watford goalkeeper Nathan Baxter, and that is a cue for some of those Hornets fans to disappear towards the exit. 4-0 Bristol City lead.
Yeah, it's a great ball in, but from Watford's point of view, you've got to defend that better. Petrie gets caught underneath the ball, then the cross comes in, and Reese gets ahead of the defenders, gets a good first touch, and it's a good finish. It looks good from their part, and it was just on cue, as I was saying. Watford need to make sure they show pride and defend, and don't just capitulate. It's poor defending. Whether you're tired or not, I know they're tired, but whether you're tired or not, it's poor defending.
It's another argument for the case that there are players in Javi Gracia's squad that just aren't quite good enough for kind of that championship run-in where he needs them. They've been given a go today, but this is light years away from what we've seen from Watford in the Championship recently. Here they come again, Bristol City. I know there's a change of shape, but then there's a load of change of personnel, so it is difficult. But Javi Gracia will revert straight back to his normal 11 for the Millwall clash next Saturday.
Yeah, and also I think Jeff, you and I'm not making an excuse, I'm not one for excuses, but a lot of them players have not played the minutes that these Bristol City players have played, and we're getting that in this second half. And the physical condition of these players, it's not, I think they're good players, they're talented players, but the physical condition of not playing is catching up with them against the very good, experienced players, championship players who've played a lot of minutes, and we're seeing that in this second half. Watford a yard off all over the pitch. So a lot of that is physical.
Bristol City on this near side. I suppose that's because they can't get in the team, Derek. So they're not getting minutes on the pitch because they can't force their way in. So they're playing bit parts by coming on for the odd 10, 20, 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, no, exactly, Jeff. And you know, this is the, you know, when you've got a squad like this, it is about how can you get them players that are not playing, keep them match fit, shall we call it. It's really hard because you can't replicate playing in front of crowds. You can't replicate that on a training pitch.
Yeah.
The adrenaline, you can't get the adrenaline what you get from a crowd, even if you play games behind closed doors and that. This is where the problem is.
But if they're not quite good enough, Derek, they're not going to get much game time in the Championship, are they? That's the issue. That's why you need a deeper squad, so that they can play a bit more game time if he can trust them to play in a Championship match.
Yeah, I get your point, Jeff. I think it's a hard one what we're talking about.
Yeah,
it's a hard one to debate because I don't think these players ain't talented, and I don't think it's down to talent.
Here's Bar. Oh, didn't run for Bar because there was a foul in there before. No, and it's a difficult one because we're kind of both right, aren't we? They're not getting the opportunity, but they're not getting the opportunity because
the first team's
that bit better.
Yeah.
And these players aren't quite at that level.
Yeah.
So it's sort of swings and roundabouts, isn't it?
It's tough. It's tough, Jeff. They're close.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And we're not saying they're not going to get to that level.
No.
But they're not there yet.
No. Some of them, but this is where I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just, some of them, because you ain't getting the minutes, you can't show your best. That's what I'm trying to get at, Jeff. As if you're not getting the minutes. So first off, we were good.
Let's watch this and let's carry on this debate because I'm quite interested in this.
Yeah. No, definitely, Jeff.
Because the game's done. It's 4-0.
Yeah.
Even though there are 17 minutes left as City pick up and will go backwards. Bristol City are going to be going through to the fourth round, and Watford are heading out as the Hornets win the ball in midfield with Greaves and play it out to Irankunda over on that left-hand side. Irankunda darts forwards, still with that pace. Irankunda skinning those Bristol City defenders, still going Irankunda, then plays into the box. Massive chance for Watford, and Greaves has scored inside the penalty area. Jack Greaves in a good position in the penalty area. That one's all about Irankunda. It was pulled back, and there was the young midfielder Jack Greaves just to smash it in to the centre of the goal. Sat up nicely for him. Fair play to Jack Greaves for getting into the right position. And the Hornets have at least got one back. It may well be a consolation, but it is one. It's Bristol City 4, Watford 1.
Yeah, an excellent goal. Irankunda, brilliant, using that burst of pace. He's been excellent tonight. Gets down the left-hand side, then gets his head up. And well done, Jack Greaves, getting himself his timing to arrive in the box was excellent. And then to have the calmness to side-foot it into the bottom corner. Excellent goal from Watford.
4-1 it is. City carry on. They did take off Rob Atkinson a few minutes ago and brought Yu Hirakara on. So just had a slight change in how they're lining up. Still fairly comfortable with just over 15 minutes remaining and that 3-goal advantage. But that's good for Jack Greaves, the young midfielder. Will give him confidence as Bristol City go backwards, and in possession is Viner. Basically Viner's gone into a central defensive position following the withdrawal of Atkinson. City play forwards, and this is going to go all the way back to goalkeeper Baxter, who throws out. Here's Morris on that touchline. Morris up to Irankunda. Irankunda back to goal. Goes backwards to Bowler. And now square to Kebben. The olays are coming out from those Watford travelling supporters. Ironic olays. Their team are 4-1 down, but they have just scored. Semedo turns his man. Looking to get on the end of it, but doesn't fall into his path. Here's Earthy instead. Earthy to Rees, who's on a hat-trick. Rees into the penalty area, clips it over the top of Baxter, and it's 5-1. And the Dane has got a hat-trick here tonight. Emil Rees just got on the wrong side of the Watford defence, who got caught napping. And then when put through, there was only going to be one outcome. He's already scored 2. And very confidently, he just clipped it over the top of Baxter and in for his hat-trick, and for Bristol City's 5th of the night. Bristol City 5, Watford 1. A Banquet just got caught wrong side.
Yeah, brilliant play from Earthy, middle of the pitch, tight area, goes right foot, left foot, and then the pass, all very fluent. And Rees running off the back of a very tired James Abankwah. And then he has the coolness to just chip the goalkeeper. It's a really good goal from Rees, a really good finish and a really good build-up.
More Watford fans are leaving. 5-1. And still just over 13 minutes to go, but this game is done. It was done, well, 10 minutes ago when they scored their 3rd goal. And in fact, even before then, it didn't look like Watford were going to compete properly. Even at 2-0 down, they weren't really troubling Bristol City too much. City are now nutmegging Watford and still coming forwards. They're not done. Gerhard Brugger's side, into the penalty area it goes. Struber will be delighted watching this performance from his team. Food for thought for Javi Gracia. Watford might be able to break away again down this right-hand side. It's just run out of play as Barr was chasing after it. Should we go back to our debate, Derek?
Yeah, no, it's I love actually what I'm saying. So yeah, if you haven't, so you're saying about the level of the player, when a player isn't playing regular and you're playing against players that are playing regular. Second half, we're witnessing that. First half, it was quite even, wasn't it?
Here's the ball round the corner. Petrie again, maybe just wasn't quite aware of where the ball was, but because he's so quick, he gets away with it. His response was excellent, and his recovery was really good. Here's Quadro Bart. Bart goes backwards, finds Bowler. Bowler whacks one down the left-hand side. Irankunda chasing it. He might get there, Irankunda. He does. The goalkeeper's come out and caught him. Has he? The referee's going to give the free kick. He's going to get a yellow card at least. I don't think it'll be a red. Irankunda was heading out to that left-hand side, but the referee is going to have a long, hard think about it, and he's going to show him a yellow card. Joe Lumley. Irankunda is so quick that even though he was second favourite to get to that ball ahead of Joe Lumley, he still got there ahead of him, and Lumley tripped him.
Wow, that pace he showed there, Irankunda. I mean, he's second best by about 4 or 5 yards, and he beats the defender, and I think the goalkeeper's very lucky to stay on. I mean, we haven't got any replays here, but I'm sure if he's touching it past him, he's going to be going in on goal. I think the goalkeeper's quite fortunate there. I might be wrong, we haven't got a replay, but I'm sure he's touching it around him and he's going to go, and I might be wrong. I might be being a bit biased, but...
Well, then you have to then argue whether he meant to do it or not. If he meant to do it, then it should be a sending off. If he's just thought he could get there and win the challenge, then it's not a sending off.
Not deemed as a sending off.
Yeah, because he's attempted to go and win it rather than he's meant to do it. But you could, he may have realised he wasn't going to get there and pretended he wasn't. Here's a free kick, and it's Irankunda, hits the side netting, and it's a goal kick. Irankunda has shown some real flashes of out-and-out pace tonight. He hasn't done himself any harm, that's for sure.
No, and quality as well, Jeff, isn't it? And quality. He's looked really. I think he's looked excellent tonight. really. Obviously, we know that turn of pace, but in the first half, he put Morris away, didn't he? And then the cross and the chance comes from that. Yeah.
Another ball forwards. Rees is away again. May get a fourth here. Rees tries to almost nutmeg goalkeeper Baxter. Baxter saves it. Earthy goes backwards. It's still with Bristol City. Twine has it. They haven't stopped. They're 5-1 up, but they are going for the jugular. Bristol City. They're in no mood to end this goal blast against Watford, and they're keeping possession in the centre circle, all wanting to be heroes tonight. Bristol City, the star man of course is the striker Emile Rees, and even the changes that Watford have made haven't stopped Bristol City from dominating this match and putting the Hornets under severe pressure. And they've been under pressure for the last 10 minutes or so. 5-1 down. And Bristol City are in the centre circle. Coming forwards left-hand side. And they're still on the hunt. Challenge comes in from Greaves. Home fans want a free kick, but nothing doing. Now, Watford attack right-hand side with Barr. Barr edges towards the edge of the penalty area, hoping that this is going to go out for a throw. It won't, so Barr keeps it in play close to the corner flag and wins a throw in right down there with just over 8 minutes to go. Watford are heading out of the FA Cup. They're 5-1 down, and there's going to be a substitution here at Ashton Gate. Derek Payne.
Yeah, obviously we're talking about the second half performance, and it's disappointing, but there are reasons, I feel, with lack of minutes in this team, and you're coming up against a team in Bristol City who their manager is very strong on them being fit, them pressing, them moving the ball quick. They are a very, very fit side and a very experienced Championship side, and I think we've seen that in this second half. There has been mistakes from Watford, no doubt about it, but there's tiredness in that second half performance from Watford.
Throw, which Petrie is going to take. Bristol City head away. It's not the priority for Watford. We know that, and we knew there were going to be loads of changes and rotation. A City player ball down the left channel. Earthy is there. Can he keep it in play? Somehow he has done, George Earthy. Heading towards the Watford penalty area. Earthy then plays a nice square pass. Randall to Twine. Twine goes backwards to Morsey. And Bristol City keeping possession. 7 minutes to go. 5-1 Bristol City lead. Three Counties Radio aren't going to have any teams left in the FA Cup at the fourth round stage. Everybody out. Boreham Wood. Now Watford. MK Dons last night. Watford trying to win the ball outside their box. Greaves knocks it forwards, only to a red shirt, but they fall over, and here's Irankunda again. Irankunda. I'm just almost wanting Irankunda to save those muscles of his, because this game is over. Here's Armstrong now. I don't want him getting injured. Armstrong in the penalty area, crossing in, and Watford knock it behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, Jeff. He's been so bright tonight, so electric, and they can't deal with him at times, so I totally know what you mean. You don't want him picking up an injury.
After Millwall on Saturday, Watford have Portsmouth at home. That's a good opportunity to pick up 3 points. Then the trip to Blackburn, who've struggled this season, and then a home fixture against Swansea, which again is a very winnable game. So a block of Championship matches coming up for the Hornets, where you feel like they've got good opportunities to collect points. Going to have to address the centre-back issue though. Here comes the Bristol City corner kick, half cleared by Watford. Who is going to partner Matty Pollock for that game against Millwall? That is the big question of the night now. We still haven't seen Foremost Mendy, who remains on the bench for Watford. And the way it's going, it doesn't look like we are going to see him, because we've only got 5 minutes left. So that doesn't look like that's going to be one that happens. unless he gets just a couple of minutes foremost, Mendy. But what that does mean is that it's unlikely that he's going to be the partner of Pollock on Saturday. So who is it going to be? Because I'll tell you what, Kebin and Abankwah have struggled tonight.
Yep. No, I agree with you, Jeff, but you know, Javi Gracia, I believe in him, and I believe he'll be working his magic with whoever he puts in there and getting them, drilling them. They need to be drilled, they need to be taught stuff, they need to learn quickly.
Free kick taken by Bristol City. Ball scooped into the box. There is Kebin heading away, and then heading away again. And then Mendy has to volley clear. A reminder, you'll be able to hear from Javi Gracia. BBC Sounds is the best place to hear from him. About an hour after full time, when we get that interview, we'll download it into BBC Sounds, onto BBC Sounds. Search Watford FC and you'll hear that interview with Javi Gracia reflecting on this FA Cup defeat away to Bristol City. If you subscribe and have your push notifications turned on, then you will be told when that material drops in, and you'll be told from then onwards whenever anything is put in there. Interviews, analysis, everything that goes in pre and post match will go onto the BBC Sounds site and those episodes of Watford FC. So well worth doing. More people are heading away and exiting the Attio stand away to our left hand side on this cold night in January. The last time Watford were here was back in April in the Championship, and they lost 2-1. It's a heavier defeat tonight, but this is the Cup and isn't the Championship, which is where Watford have the high hopes. Will there be any additions before Saturday? Any new signings? Will there be a centre-half as Petrie breaks away right-hand side? Petrie could play a good ball here. Greaves is the target. Greaves lays it off to Irankunda. Irankunda has it. Greaves down. Irankunda lays it off to Morris, who looks to strike. Greaves gingerly trying to get up. May have just got injured in that earlier collision, and he may well need some treatment. Jack Greaves here.
Yeah, he didn't make the most of that. It was a good break from Watford down the right-hand side. Petrie bursting forward like he does, just overhits the pass into Greaves, and that's where he picks up the little injury, but he's okay and he's up.
Seeing out time now, 2 minutes to play plus injury time here at Ashton Gate. We'll carry on the little debate about this Watford team not being as physically strong as Bristol City and the reasons for that. Sort of goes round in circles as to why they're not getting much game time. The league campaign is the priority, and the ones that are playing in the league are the best players at the football club. That's why they're in the team. Well, they're the best players that Javi Gracia thinks can work to his system. So he is relying on those players. Made all the changes tonight, as it's the FA Cup. And they haven't done too badly, but there's a reason why they are playing tonight, and why a lot of them perhaps won't be playing next Saturday. That might sound really harsh, but unfortunately that is just the way it is, unless they can break into that Championship team. Has Abankwah caught Armstrong there? No, referee says it's just a coming together. So we play on. Armstrong has been booked. No, sorry, Abankwah has been booked already. Semedo just getting caught in the midfield area. Thought that Jack Greaves maybe got in his way. Do need to stress again that these are very young players. Semedo's now just having words with Morsey, and Morsey not happy with that. Semedo's still very close to him. Morsey not happy. Now Barr's getting involved, and now they're carrying it on that. Semedo, Barr, Morsey. Morsey is an absolute veteran of the game. He is not going to back down to a 20-year-old kid. And Morsey continues now with Barr. And we need to watch that one with interest. They're still going on, those two. Barr and Morsey carry it on. It was Morsey and Semedo earlier. Now it's Morsey and Barr, and we know that Barr won't back down either. Barr's sticking out his hand to give him a shake of the hands, but Morsey doesn't want to know.
Yeah, Morsey's very experienced, very strong central midfielder. Like you said, experienced player. And
that would be like you backing down to an 18-year-old Derek when you were in your 30s.
I can understand why Morsey is not backing down, definitely. Definitely.
Derek
young
Payne.
pups.
Yeah, Derek Payne would not have stood for that.
I wouldn't back down. No.
We're into stoppage time here. Bristol City 5, Watford 1. Don't need any of that either from any of the Watford players. The game's dead.
Yeah.
So don't get involved in that. Don't get in trouble. And Barr is just getting a challenge in now. Still going. He's very competitive, Quadwo Barr. So he's not going to pull out of a tackle. He is going to get involved as Watford take a throw in. Greaves tries to cross. Greaves was the goal scorer. Morsey still just having words with Quadwo Barr. I think it's now in jest. I'm hoping it's in jest. Looks like I don't know.
Because he's kind of giving a little touch to his face, hasn't he? I mean, usually the experienced player, what we find is we'll wind up the younger player, and usually the younger player, not 100% of the times, will nibble. So I'd imagine Morsey's quite in control here of what he's doing, and like you said, Jeff, I think Barr and Semedo just have to be careful.
There is the full-time whistle, and we'll just check that nothing silly happens now. I don't think it will. Morsey still carrying it on though, isn't he? Barr having words back, and we just have to keep a little bit of an eye on this. The referee is just stopping Morsey from getting too involved. They just won the game 5-1. I don't think he needs to get too involved. Quadwo Barr just shaking hands with his opponents. So still a little bit going on out there. I think it has all calmed down a bit. I think I'm just going to keep a little eye on Morsey. But Derek Payne, it's a heavy defeat for Watford in the FA Cup.
Yeah, and second half, Bristol City with a 2-0 lead. Played the second half really well, managed the game well, and scored what they will say are really good goals. But Watford's second half, very tired performance. We mentioned about all the new players that had come in, lack of minutes in that side. That showed. There were mistakes as well, and there will be things that Javi Gracia will not put down to tiredness. But this Bristol City team are built off fitness, they're built off moving the ball quickly, they press high, they press hard. So a team that you don't want to come up against when you haven't had a lot of minutes is a Bristol City team, especially when they got a 2-0 lead, and I think that's what we saw in the second half. But there were errors in that as well, so it's going to be interesting to see what Javi Gracia thinks of it. That's what I'll be interested in. I put a lot of it down to tiredness the second half. It'll be interesting to see what he says.
Who has stated a case for themselves tonight, Derek?
Well, definitely Irukunda. He's the one straight away that springs to mind. Excellent. I thought Semedo, up until he really tired second half. First half looked quite bright as well. I think them two, and that's no coincidence, they've been getting minutes off the bench, So them two, I thought, stake a claim. I thought Mendy, obviously, I like him, but then obviously he was tired second half. Kevin, hard night for him. I think he struggled. Banker a little bit as well. So a few good ones, a few that he not so good. But yeah, them ones, Irukunda, Semedo, Greaves done okay getting the goal. He done well when he come on actually. And Mendy, I do like Mendy. I just think it's this lack of minutes with him.
Just watching the players head down the tunnel. It did carry on just a little bit with Morsey and Barr, and again it was Morsey who was kind of starting it. Morsey kind of kicked the ball at Quadvo Bar. Bar just kind of looked at him as though to say, why are we carrying on this for? But there was obviously something happened, and Morty wasn't happy with something that Bar did. Just hopefully nothing goes on as they wander down that tunnel down below us. But a 5-1 defeat for Watford tonight, and sort of the second string have played tonight and not quite been able to produce what we've seen from the first string, if you like, which is understandable. It's okay first half, they were still in it, but second half, as Derek has been saying, they did tire, and then particularly as soon as Pollock and Loser went off, the writing was on the wall.
Yeah, exactly. You check the two, players that have been playing regular.
It was dead by then anyway, wasn't it?
It was dead by then anyway, but them two going off didn't help. But yeah, look, the big issue, isn't it? Is the centre half situation with Max Elaine leaving. So that's going to be interesting to see what he does next game, Javi Gracia, with that. With the players that are tired and that, maybe as they're moving forward in the season, he might look at this tonight and think, I might have to start giving them, without, if you're winning the game, do I have to get someone on there, give them 20 minutes, give them a little 20 minutes. You can't, what I'm trying to say is, if you're winning a championship game, you can't take any risk. But because what we've seen in that second half, sometimes is he going to have to be clever with the subs he used moving forward? Because...
But how is he going to do that, Derek? I know what you're saying.
You know what I'm trying to say.
But I don't know how he can give them game time.
Yeah, I agree. It's tough.
He can't start them because these championship games are too important, and he's got a set team at the moment who are undroppable. So he can't drop any of them. The ones out there tonight aren't far off, but you can't really play any of them at the moment.
No, I agree with you. What I'm trying to say is, so Iracunda and Semedo, they've been getting some time off the bench. Is it a case of, say Ince is playing, doing well, you're winning, do you then say to yourself, right, I might have to bring Bar on and tell him, but that's down to the manager, he'll have to work this all out. And as long as they're winning and they keep winning, and he uses subs like how he has been doing it, then I'm just worried with the second half because of how far they are off being ready. They're nowhere near ready to start games, being ready to come on and do a job for the team.
But there's a reason why they're not ready, isn't there? Because they're not quite good enough.
No, that's where I disagree with you. I'm saying, I think, some of them, look, Max Elaine's a big loss.
From what Javi Gracia wants,
right?
He can't start Iracunda, and he can't start Bar at the moment in his championship campaign.
Right. Yeah, but that's more balance to the side. If you said on tonight's performance, I would say you could play Iracunda, because I think he's learning about the running back, the tracking back. But I'm not saying I wouldn't, because you don't change a winning team and you don't change what's working. But then I look at the rest of them, maybe Semedo, because
possibly.
But them two, there's a coincidence here. Them two have been getting minutes off the bench.
There we go.
So So what the club, I don't know. It's not for me to say, but they got to work out a way of getting these players that are not playing fit. But I know what you're saying about the talent. The two centre halves definitely need to get better, as in Max Elaine's come in and settled in. I think Javi Gracia and the coaches will work with whoever plays in that position and will start to try and improve them as quick as possible.
Can they do that?
They've done it with Max Elaine, I believe. I think they've done it with the defence in general. I think they're working on the defence as a unit. Whoever goes in there's a lot of pressure on whoever goes into that position in the next game, and I wish them all the best. Because Kevin's had a chance this season, and we've seen tonight he's prone to errors. A Banquet, I think, will probably get the chance, and I think he's a good player, and I think he's a decent player, and hopefully with the coaching that goes in and getting them in a unit as well. When he was playing earlier in the season, they weren't a unit. Now they're more of a unit. So I'm really hoping James the Banquet steps up and fits in, and it all goes seamlessly, but we'll have to wait and see on that.
Well, he's going to have to, isn't he? Unless they make a signing, one of them is going to have to.
Yep.
Then it comes down to levels. Are they at the same level as a player as someone like a Max Alleyne? And that's probably a different debate. I've got my own views on that. I think that's the reason why Watford could probably do with 3 or 4. If they're to mount a serious challenge, they could probably do with 3 or 4 in that centre-back position, probably in a left-back position, although actually James Morris did okay tonight as a possible, backup for Bola, and then in that central midfield area, which we're wondering whether the signing of Bove may be made. But that's, I think, why most would think if they made 3 or 4 real contenders. If they don't, then you might have to rely on these ones that have played tonight, and then are they going to be able to fit in?
Especially with the lack of minutes. Yeah. I see exactly where you're coming from, Jeff, and that's where, I think the club stance to be, these players are good enough. It's going to be more about, if I'm watching that today, it's like, how do I get these players match ready? How do I do it? They are going to have to work hard on their own. We're going to have to push them. We're going to have to do stuff. But yeah, that's the conundrum at the moment. It's going to be so interesting, his press conference tonight. I'm going to be so interested to see what he says, because we can see there whether it's lack of, so we ain't arguing whether it's lack of ability or lack of minutes. They're not ready to start games at the moment, most of them players, are they? That we saw tonight. So big conundrum.
I'm just going to end on one thing, because I think you. No, how can I put this? I think there is a difference of ability. I think there is a difference in levels with this team, because what you're saying then is if they're all fit, they're all as good as each other.
No, I'm not saying that. I'll go on my experience, Jeff. I've been in the side and we've had a good backup side, so there's 22. In my day, it's 22, 2 for each position. And we were regularly the starters and they were regularly the reserves. And there weren't a lot between us as players. But the longer the season went on, we used to play them in training. And they want to beat you. They want to get in the team. You want to take my place. I'm going to keep my place. But we were winning. This was at Barnet. Yeah. We were winning. We're winning.
But there was a reason why you were getting picked, though, Derek.
Yeah, but the level weren't a lot of difference between the level. And if you listen to any good coach, they say the level of the squad has to be close. The geezer pushing the first team, the first 11 has to be close. It can't be like, I'm going to make a joke here, so take it as a joke. It can't be me and you're pushing me because you're too far behind me to push me. I need an Imran loser.
That is a right liberty pain.
I need an Imran loser pushing me, That's what I'm trying to say. So I have experienced that where you've got the first 11 and you've got the second, and they were close to us. The ability weren't much between us. We got into the side, we're playing well, that team's winning. It's like Javi Gracia, he ain't changing a winning team, might change 1 or 2 now and again, suspensions, blah, 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 but you had the bulk of the team was always the same because we were winning matches. And that's what's happening here. But the lot below us, there weren't a lot between us. There were some good players in the second 11, what I would call the second 11. But as the season went on, and they ain't playing much, but they were getting games, but they ain't playing the same sort of pace we're playing at. When we're playing them in training, it become easier and easier, but they showed the right attitude and they were ready to come on and do a job off the bench. But as the season goes on, you're playing sharp football in the Championship week in, well, that was just 2, so we're playing that pace. They're playing Capital League